Your toilet sucks. And I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Let's go over all the tools and supplies you're gonna need to replace the toilet. This is a flathead screwdriver. You're gonna want a long one. This is a ratchet wrench, channel locks, little mini level, box cutter, tub sealant, a wax ring. I like the thicker ones, extra thick. This is a sponge. It's necessary after you apply the tub sealant. Plastic shims if necessary. I always like to replace the supply line going to the toilet. Now this is the factory supplied hardware to lock down the toilet. This is the hardware I like to use. It's faster. You don't have to, but I like to. Also, you're gonna want a shop vac to get all the water out before you pull the toilet. That's all the tools and supplies you're gonna need. Let's get started. The first thing we're gonna wanna do is shut off the water to the toilet. We're going to turn this to the right. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. When we turn it to the right, it shuts it off. We're gonna check that by ensuring that there's no water going to the toilet anymore. So we're gonna confirm that there's no water going to the toilet. This is a pressurized tank, so you're not gonna be able to see it. But on this one, if we hit this, we can hear that there's no water going to the toilet. We've confirmed that the water shut off. Now we're gonna take our shop vac and get all the water out. Now we're gonna wanna grab our box cutter. Now the box cutter's to cut the tub sealant around the tile to the toilet to make sure we can pull this toilet out once we get the bolts untightened. We're gonna want to make sure this box cutter is cutting towards the bottom of the tub sealant. And we're gonna make sure that we work this all the way around the toilet. We've ensured that we have cut the tub sealant. Now what we're gonna wanna do is get this cap, remove it. We're gonna untighten these bolts so we can pull the toilet out. And we're gonna grab our handy dandy channel locks and undo the bolts. We just removed the nut from the bolt. Let's go ahead and repeat that on the other side. We've got the toilet completely unbolted. Now let's remove the supply line. You're gonna wanna make sure there's a little bucket underneath the supply line just in case you catch any of that residual water. Now the toilet's completely disconnected. It's time to get this thing out of here. We call this the crab walk. The toilet's out of here. Let's get this wax ring out. Now that we got the toilet out of here, we're gonna clean up the area. We're gonna remove the tub sealant. Let's put this bad boy together. First thing we're gonna wanna do is get this boulder tank gasket on. This is the tank to the toilet. We're gonna put this gasket on the bottom of it before we set it in place. Now we got the tank on here. We're gonna put the hardware to lock it down. We're gonna wanna put the rubber gasket first, then the washer. We're gonna put it down here. We're just gonna put that in snug. You're not gonna tighten one side. You don't wanna tighten one side and then the other. You're gonna wanna do that in a series. Now first we're gonna make sure the bowl's level. And now we know the bowl's level, we're gonna make sure the tank's level once we get it tightened down. It needs to be leveled because you don't want the tank to one side or the other. You wanna make sure it seals properly. So when we're doing this, we just wanna do one side a little bit and then the next side a little bit. We're gonna keep alternating, and we're just gonna make sure that it's really snug. You do not wanna be tight. So we're gonna pull this side down a little bit. Now this is the hardware for the toilet seat. Let's go ahead and put it on. Every toilet's a little different, but these got a little rubber gasket that go right here before you set the toilet seat on. So before we do the final tightening of the toilet lid, we're gonna make sure that this is all square to the toilet itself. Now all we gotta do is snap this in place. These are the no-cut toilet bolts. So we're gonna run this all the way down. Sure, it's nice and tight. If you don't have these, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to cut this to the right level so we can put the caps to hide the bolts. That's a lot harder. This makes it a lot better. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put it in like this, and then we're gonna spin it so we make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Next, we're gonna replace the supply line to the toilet, also the extra thick wax ring. You're gonna wanna use the extra thick one to ensure that there's no leaks. Lefty-loosey. With tightening this supply line, you want to make sure it's tight, but not over tight. The worst thing you can do in almost any plumbing is over tighten something and break it. We got the supply line installed. Now it's time to replace the wax ring. When we install the wax ring, we're going to just make sure that this is in the center and the wax is obviously on top. We got the area cleaned up. We got the wax ring in and the toilet supply line installed. Now let's get the new toilet in here. Before we set this on the wax ring, we're gonna wanna make sure that these holes line up with these bolts. We're gonna put this on. Now that we've got the cap underneath the bolt, we're gonna lock this down. Now that we've got the nut nice and snug, and I've ensured that the toilet's not rocking, we're gonna wanna go ahead and put this cap on. You're gonna hear that snap. That's when you know it's good. The next thing we're gonna wanna do is attach the supply line to the toilet. Same thing with this, you're gonna wanna just get it nice and snug. Definitely don't over tighten it. Now we're gonna turn on the water to ensure we don't have any leaks. Now, as you're locking this toilet down to the ground, you want to make sure that it's level. This one happens to be level. If not, you're going to want to use a plastic shim. We got these right here. Whatever side is low, you want to put this shim on. Now that we got the toilet locked down, everything's level, the last thing we got to do is put the tub sealant on. It has lines on it. You want to cut it to this one right here, to the second line down. Grab your tub sealant, grab your sponge, and let's get to it. Last thing we want to check is, does it flush? Perfect. That's how you install a toilet, and now your toilet doesn't suck. If you don't want to do this, call Reliant Plumbing. We're happy to help.